Well, good morning, my Galilee family. Um, it's Friday again. This is Paula. And I've been thinking all week about 9/11, after Monday, and how our world is today. And I was thinking a lot of it happened walking the neighborhood and realized there's not many flags in our neighborhood, and that's almost become controversial if you do have a flag. And I'm thinking, how sad. Because you remember after 9/11, we were one. And I remember our entire neighborhood, which is a total of like 400 houses, um, every house had flag. And everyone seemed full of joy and like nice to each other. We were all on the same side. Um, and I was been doing a lot of reading about 9/11, and not as much we know what happened, but what happened to us after. And Christianity went up, and churches were packed, and everyone was thinking this is just wonderful. Um, but unfortunately, it really didn't last that long. Not even as long as some would have expected. Um, and then, gradually, little by little, the flags came down. And it's like, ah, that was the time. It didn't matter the color of your skin, your religious background. All it was we were one. And boy, that is just my hope that we could get back to that. Um, and not be divided by politics, and just think of ourselves as Americans. I know that's probably too Pollyanna, but it happened and it can happen again. We saw it, we witnessed it, um, and I had watched the whole thing about 9/11 and saw George W. Bush throw out the first pitch at the Yankee game, after that happened, and standing ovation and yelling and cheering. And I thought, I don't think that would happen today. And it's just sad. It's just sad. And I just really hope that we can get back to that feeling. And I was reading Romans 8:28. We know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. And that's just my hope all the time, that he knows what's going on, and we know he's doing things behind the scenes. Um, and we know that it's things are never going to be perfect, and there's obviously evil in the world. But I was thinking that, when we say never forget, um, there's two ways we can look at that. One is, well, we shouldn't forget. We can't forget. It's history. It happened. Um, it was horrible. Um, but we should never forget either that how we came together. To me, that's the optimistic side of it. Like, we came together as one, um, and for a cause. I don't think we can live for over 20 years with just a hate and just miserable. I really, for me personally, I want to think of how we got through it, and how we um, were so patriotic, and just one big, it was like an American family. And so then I was looking at another Bible verse, and it was James 4, verse 8. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double minded. That's probably one I'd really need Pastor Matt to decipher a little bit, but um, I sort of understand the double minded, because I think we all are to certain sense. But the one that I found really interesting was Corinthians 6:2. For he says, in a favorable time I listened to you, and a day of salvation I have helped you. Behold, now is the favorable time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. So I certainly don't want to belittle. I know we've lost so many lives because of 9/11 and then the war after that. But I personally don't want to be filled with hatred. And I just wish we could get back to how we felt as a country after 9/11. Everyone was smiling at each other. The churches were filled, the flags were waving. And that's one of the things I want to remember and just pray that we can get back to that point. So that's my focus for this week. It's not just for this week, it's just going to continue that we can stop the division. I'm sure God's not happy about it, and there always will be evil in the world, and that's not going to change. But we can change, and hopefully we will, and try to just see each other's point of view and stop the hatred. So, and with that, I just want to say that I understand that on Sunday, there was like a perfect storm, apparently. We had Revelations Bible study, which I heard was a huge crowd, which is the most wonderful news we could have. But also, due to bad weather, Sunday school rally was in the same fellowship hall. And obviously, that didn't work out too well. But please give it another chance. It's being dealt with. We want you to come back, and that won't happen again. And I just hope, really, you give it a second chance. I know I am. So with that, when in doubt, like I always say, and you have fear or whatever, and you just want to change things or look for something better, there's nothing better than looking up. Bye, until next time.